Reproduction in plants. The process of producing young ones of their own by the living organisms is called reproduction. And in this video, we will understand the chapter Reproduction in Plants. Children, you know that flower is the reproductive organ in plants. But there are many other plants which do not have flowers. But they also reproduce and multiply their numbers. Plants reproduce by several ways to produce their offsprings. And the ways of reproduction in plants can be divided into two main categories: asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction is the kind of reproduction in which only a single parent is involved and the offspring are the exact copies of the parent. Asexual reproduction does not require both parents to produce young ones. Only one parent organism is required. It occurs without seed. The common methods of asexual reproduction in plants are budding, fragmentation, spore formation, and vegetative propagation. Budding. A small outgrowth, that bulb-like projection, we use the word bud for this outgrowth, is produced on the surface of the parent organism. The buds grow on the parent body and finally break off and start growing into new individual. Sometimes a bud remains attached with the parent body and keeps producing more buds. Hydra and yeast cells are examples of the process of budding. Fragmentation. Algae, especially Spirogyra, is the common example of the fragmentation method. The filament-like body breaks into smaller fragments and each fragment develops into a new organism. Fragmentation occurs by breaking the body into fragments or into two or more pieces. It occurs in some algae like Spirogyra. The filament of these algae breaks into two or more fragments. Each fragment then grows into a new plant. The process of fragmentation continues, and within a short period of time, algae grow over large area. You can see the green slimming layer of algae covering the entire surface of water. This occurs due to the reproduction in algae by the method of fragmentation. Some lower plants like fungi, mushroom, non-flowering plants like ferns reproduce by spore formation under favorable conditions. Spores are small, thick-walled structures covered by hard protective coating that helps them to survive in harsh weather conditions. When the favorable conditions comes, means sufficient food, right temperature, right moisture, these spores grow into a new organism. The reproduction by vegetative parts like stem, root and leaves in plants is called vegetative propagation. The vegetative propagation is commonly used in agriculture for the production of vegetable and fruits in large numbers. Now there are two parts of vegetative propagation. One is the natural vegetative propagation and another one is the artificial vegetative propagation. So let's understand about the natural vegetative propagation. So first one is modified roots. The roots of some plants like sweet potato and carrot are swollen due to the food stored in them. These roots have small buds on them that develop into new plants when it comes in the contact with the soil. In stems, we need to understand the two kinds of stems. One is the underground stems and another one is the subaerial stems. Children, in underground stems there are four categories, that is tuber, bulb, rhizome and corm. In subaerial stem also we have four categories: runners, stolons, suckers and offset. So let's understand first underground stems. Small depressions on potato that known as eyes. These eyes have buds that can grow into a new plant and this one is known as tubers. In onion, the stem bears a terminal bud which grow into a new plant and this one is come under the bulbs. Bulbs have thick leaves which store food in them. Onion, garlic, tulip, lily, all are examples of the modified stems that are known as bulbs. Corms. Corms are basically the storage structure of any plant, and whenever the favorable conditions come, they grow into a new plant. Corms have buds in the axils of their scaly leaves. Ginger, turmeric are some examples of the modified stems that are known as rhizomes. Their buds produce some outgrowths which produce new plant. These are also underground stems that grow horizontally under the ground. Now let's understand subaerial stems. In some plants, the main plant develops side shoots which have buds that grow into a new plant. And these are known as the subaerial stems. Runners. The subaerial stems creep horizontally on the soil are called runners. These are found in some weak-stemmed plant and they are rooted at every node. When internode breaks off, they exist as an individual life. Stolons. It developed from the lower branches of the stem. When these branches touch the soil, produce adventitious roots and then becomes a new plant will generate. Suckers. It developed from the underground part of the stem. Basically, these are underground branches that grow upwards. These are developed from the auxiliary buds of the underground part of the stem. Offsets. Subaerial stems which are short, slender branches of one intermodal length are called offsets. These are found in free-floating hydrophytes. Vegetative propagation by leaves. Some plants like Bryophyllum can multiply by the buds present in the margins of their leaves. These buds fall on the ground and grow into new plants. Now let's discuss about the artificial vegetative propagation. The process of growing new plants by using their vegetative parts by man-made method is called artificial vegetative propagation. The methods are cutting, grafting, layering and tissue culture. Cutting. In this method, a healthy stem of a plant having leaf buds is cut off and planted in moist soil. After some time, on getting favorable conditions, the branch develops into a new plant. Grafting is a very common method to grow plants of rose, mango, apple and many more. In grafting, two different plants are joined together so as to produce a new plant containing the characters of both the plants. It is carried out by the following steps. Scion is a small part of one plant which is inserted into the stem or root system of another plant fixed into the soil. The scion contains several buds. Stalk is the part of another plant which is fixed in the soil and in which the scion is inserted. Both scion and stalk are then firmly tied together. Scion gets the mineral and water from the soil through the stalk and develops branches and produces fruits. In the method of layering, a young branch is bent towards the ground and covered with moist soil. This covered part, which is in contact of soil, produces new roots. The branch is then separated from the parent plant and allowed to grow into new plant. This method of vegetative propagation is called layering. Tissue culture. In this method, a piece of tissue is cut from the plant and keep it in a nutrient medium. The nutrient medium contains hormones that make the cells divide and form the group of cells. After desired growth, we plant it into the moist soil and we get new plants. This is about all asexual reproduction in plant. Thank you for watching.